As someone who is new to Adobe Premiere or other Adobe video applications, such as After Effects or Encore, one of the first things you'll notice is that there are some similarities with other programs like Illustrator or Photoshop in the sense that we have some tabbed panels that hold all of the different controls and options that we use when we're editing our media. However, there's a big difference, and that is the way that the panels are grouped together and the way that they interact with one another when we use certain controls. So for starters, if we look at this project panel here at the top left, we're going to talk more about what the project panel is for a little bit later on, you can see some subtle differences right away. First of all, you can still drag the panel around by clicking on its tab and then dragging. And we also have the ability to close it by clicking on the little X, and we have a pop-up menu similar to what we see in the other applications. But one of the differences is, in certain video applications, you'll notice that some panels have search fields in them. The effects panel down at the bottom left also has a search field, and these work in real time. So if I type in LEV, short for levels, you can see it shows us the two items that it finds with the word levels in it. So this is one big difference. Another difference is the way the panels are resized. In other applications like Illustrator or Photoshop, we can resize the panels individually because they're their own floating windows. So we can detach them from other panels, resize them, regroup them, and do whatever we need to do based on our workflow. In Premiere Pro, the content of the panels actually makes up the entire content of the workspace or the editing window. So in order for that window to maintain its size, to resize the panel means that they're going to get larger and smaller relative to one another. Let me give you an example. If I wanted to make this timeline panel a little bit larger so I could see more of it, and in this case I don't happen to have a lot there, but just to make an example, I can move the cursor to this boundary area between the effects group and this timeline panel. If I click and drag left, you can see the timeline panel gets larger as the effects panel group gets smaller. You can also do the same thing vertically by moving it between any two panels on the top or bottom. And you can even move the cursor between three or more panels, and this will give a four-pronged arrow, which means it's omnidirectional, and you can resize the panels vertically and horizontally. Now you'll notice as I resized this panel at the bottom left, some of the tabs that were visible went away. When this happens, we get a scroll bar right above the panel group. We can then click and drag this to the right in this case to reveal the other panel tabs that were hidden when we resized the group. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this back out a little bit to show you one other thing. And that is the way that panels are grouped. This is also very different compared to other Adobe applications. If I click on this info panel and then drag, as I move it over the other panels, you'll see these different blue overlays. And what these indicate, as I move around the edge of any one of these other panels, the overlay is actually showing me where a new panel group will be created. So if I go ahead and release the mouse here, you'll see that the info panel creates a new group between the program and source panels. Now if I want to, I can go to the info tab here and drag again to restart the process, or if I move it over this tab, I can group it in with these other items. Now I have to resize things a little bit so that I can see what's in my source monitor a little bit more clearly, but you can see just how easy it is to customize the user interface in Premiere Pro CS4.